I've been waiting. I've been waiting. Dub Nation, we've been waiting. We've been waiting. I've been waiting for this. And this performance was so promising on so many levels and layers if you're a Warriors fan and if you're a Steph Curry fan. Steph is one of the more polarizing all-time greats that we can talk about, right? And he's all over the place on people's lists. And it's because, look, he means more to basketball. It's more than just the game, right? With what he's done. That's a video for another time. Let's talk about what happened last night. I just got done with a 15-minute breakdown on my Patreon, but I didn't want to leave y'all hanging here on YouTube because this was a moment that needed to be celebrated and acknowledged on all forums. So the 62 points. Look, I'll cop to it. I'll own to it. In my previous breakdowns, what has it been, like 5 games here? What I said was, like, he doesn't look washed. Steph doesn't look like washed and like he's lost a step necessarily, but he doesn't look good. But there were various reasons, right? He's had like over a year off pretty much. Empty arena. There was new teammates, right? A lot has been made about Steve Kerr and the offense. And there's various reasons why he hasn't quite looked good. But overall, like my eye test, I was like, right? He looks bigger. He looks a lot more muscular. I don't know if that helps him or not, right? Well, took him some time to adjust, right? He heard the chattering. He heard all the chirping. I think what really put it over the top, though, is when you hear something from your peer, right? And this started early in the bubble when Dame was going off, the comparisons between he and Steph. And there will always be those. You talk about the pride of Oakland and Damian Lillard and the golden boy of the Bay and Steph Curry, right? And I've said it before, like, I think he is the closest thing currently to Steph, but there's still a big gap, right? And he's never going to reach his achievements. But, in that the first game, Portland blows the Warriors off the court, and Steph, he just looked discouraged, right? I think one of Steph's weaknesses is he hangs his head. His body language isn't always great. And look, I personally expected just more fight. I understand that the rust, the rhythm, the timing of the offense. I'm not saying, he's got to go for 40 and do it super efficiently. You just wanted to see a little more fight and a little more, pushback from Steph in these early blowouts. And then Dame went and said, "Yeah, man, Steph looks mortal, right? He looks mortal." And it wasn't even really, right? Very subjective. It wasn't really a diss or, the funny thing is, according to Warriors Twitter, like anything not praising Steph is Steph slander, right? So depending on how you took it, but I think Steph heard it. I think Steph heard, that more or less Dame was, if you read between the lines, kind of suggesting, he don't look the same. And, to the objective eye, he hadn't. And then last night happens. And here's the difference. Here's the separator, man. It wasn't like all of a sudden Steph got hot in rhythm and hit 12 threes. Nah, it wasn't that. We saw bully Steph last night. We saw an angry Steph Curry. There was no smiling. There was no shimmying. And there, all of a sudden, I've never seen him do this. He changed his rhythm and his pace. And he was playing in second gear. Kind of like Luka Doncic. Kind of like CJ McCollum does. Second gear. Not slow, but definitely not fast. Taking his time and playing on his own time. But it wasn't just that. He also it wasn't that he was just accepting contact, embracing for it. He was seeking the contact. We talked about that big body, and he looks well over 200 pounds. Now, I won't say well over. He looks easily 200 pounds, maybe a little bit more. He's big. He's bulked up. And it may have taken him some time to kind of figure out how to utilize that. And maybe it took him getting pissed off and hearing all the chatter that he was like, you know what? No, man, I'm going to go find the contact. Let me push some of these guys around. He was pushing, he was pulling, and I think we saw, this could be Steph in his final form, where now at 32 years old, a much bigger and bulkier Steph Curry, he's playing at a different pace. Again, it's second gear. He's slowing down. Instead of trying to use quickness all the time and beat everybody to spots, now it's a change of pace. Oh, and the separation is coming off contact. And that is what's so promising. And that's also why he shot a career high from the free throw line. I heard some people say, this is what it looks like when Steph is getting the calls. No. Make no mistake about it. This was a different Steph. Here's one thing in the NBA and in basketball in general, I'm not talking about like a snake bite call on a shot or someone coming up under him. That's very subjective. The Zaza rule, if you will. We know he doesn't get that a lot. That wasn't that. What happened last night was he got downhill, and because of his patience and because he was willing to initiate the contact, because a lot of the time as a driver in basketball, it's not the first foul that gets whistled. You've got to get fouled essentially twice before they blow the whistle when you're in the paint and there's contact, right? And so with his patience and his pace, he was getting fouled and then he was getting fouled again, and then they were having to call it. And I just love the demeanor, man. So that's what's so encouraging about it, because again, it's not, you can't shoot like that all the time, right? The rhythm came, but the rhythm came, he found it differently than we've ever seen him find it before. It was the physicality, getting to the line, and just a no nonsense attitude that found that rhythm. So yeah, like tonight, the Kings, he may not be hot, but if he brings that mentality, what's the song? We gonna be all right, right? Dub Nation, we gonna be all right if he can bring that mentality. There were a lot of other positives in that game, and you're starting to see the defensive potential with Wiggins, Oubre, Draymond, the young 7-footer, right? The potential is there, and with Draymond to kind of be the head of the snake defensively, I mean, Oubre put the clamps on Dame. No one's going to stop Dame and CJ. They're too great of offensive talents. But Oubre and Wiggins bothered them enough and contained them. So, you know, it was a rough start, and there's still a long way to go in this weird start to a season. But last night, I'm as optimistic as I've been in a long time with this new look Warriors team and Steph Curry's future. Go check the Patreon out, y'all. It's dope. Support me. You want this channel to keep going and me to keep doing what I do, go support that. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they don't have an emotional letdown and they can kind of build off this tonight and get back-to-back wins here. I'm out, y'all.